Hi, I'm Jeremy, and today I'm going to look at a game called Numeri, which plays in 20 minutes from, this copy is from Schmidt-Spiele in their Easy Play line, but I know that there are other versions. This game, I think, was originally published back in the 70s. The game plays for ages 8 and up in about 20 minutes, like I said, between 2 to 4 players. It's a roll and move game that has a little bit of strategy in how you want to move your multiple pawns along a track so that they're best positioned to score at the end of the game. I'll take a moment to show you how it plays, and I'll come back and give you my final thoughts. Okay, so here we have a setup for Numeri. This is for a 3-player game. The game does play from 2 to 4 players. At the start of the game, each player will roll this die, which goes from 1 to 5 and has a star on the 6th side, and determine one of their one of their pawns, which are also numbered from 1 to 5, to start on each of these spots. Whoever's on this first space will begin, and what they do is they'll roll their die, and quite simply they will take that pawn and then they will place it onto the board. The trick in this game is that no two places can occupy the same space. So this one would go on the board and it would move all the way to this space here. And then the next player, the blue player, would go. They would roll their 4. Their 4 would go here. Then the green would go. And if they rolled a 1, it would go here. And this will keep going until, with 3 players, let's just say we do something like this. And then maybe if, the blue, they roll their 5, it might hop up here. And so on. So as soon as a player crosses this threshold here, then the game changes slightly. So now, if you roll a 5 or you roll a 4, you have the option to move your 5 or 4 pawn, or you could split up that die roll among your lower pieces. So, for example, with a 4, you could roll you could move your 3, your 1 twice, or your 3 and your 1, your 2 twice, or with a 3, you can move the 2 and the 1. So what you're going to be trying to do is setting up opportunities so that you could leapfrog other pieces. And if ever, let's say it's the green player's turn, a star allows you to move any piece. If ever you move it, so let's say they move this this green 1 to here, if ever you situate it so that you have 3 pieces in a consecutive spaces within a row, that will give you an immediate extra turn, so green would get to go again here. So over the course of the game, these pieces are going to be moving along this track, and you're not obligated to bring in any pieces that don't get sent in at the start of the game. But eventually they're going to be moving here, and you'll notice on some of these spaces, as you move along the track, the values of the points go up until at the very last space is a 30. So at the end of the game, which will happen as soon as these 3 last spaces are occupied, let's say we have something like this, you will just look at the space that every piece of each color is on, and then you'll multiply it by the value of the piece times the number of points that's printed on the board. So this 2 here on the 30 space would be worth 60 points. This 3 on the 12 would be 36, and that would be all the points that that green gets. These blank spaces don't do anything positive or negative, and being off the board does not lose you any points. Here, red, for example, would have 4 times 3, that's 42, and 5 times 5, that would be 125. So, but they would lose 2 points over here, but I think red would still have it in the bag. So that is the way that Numeri plays, and I'll give you my final thoughts in a moment. Okay, so that is Numeri. It's obviously a really pretty simple roll and move game, but it's interesting that you get some decisions within that roll and move space. If you roll your 5 early on, you're gonna have to move your 5 pawn, but once you're across the threshold where people get to split up die rolls, the game becomes more interesting, and you start jockeying for position, whether or not you want to push a piece all the way to the end, which is risky, especially because it's hard to move a 5 piece all the way to the end, but the rewards are great. Near the end of the game, if you're sitting on a space that it will give you guaranteed points, there's a question of whether or not you want to move off of that space and risk getting more points, but potentially getting nothing if you end up on a blank space. And the game could end actually really pretty quickly, although, like I said, it plays in 20 minutes. It can end very quickly because of the way that pieces leapfrog over one another. If the perfect storm happens where a player gets multiple turns in a row, or if a piece is able to leapfrog a large number of other pieces, it could quickly move to the end of the track. So that keeps the game exciting, and for a 20-minute game, it's definitely enjoyable. It's not a brain burner by any means, but it's a great little family game. So that's what I think of Numeri, and thanks for watching.